Welcome to the Prosperity Profiles Podcast, sponsored by Prosperity Profilers, LLC. They'll help you look prosperous, feel prosperous, and be prosperous. We hope you listen often, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Now, here's your host, four-time #1 best-selling author, speaker, and business coach, Holly Porter.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. We have a guest today. Her name is Cindy Brogdon. How are you, Cindy?
I'm well, thanks.
Awesome. She's one of our authors. Yep, you've been hearing from them, and I know they are all so brilliant, and they have so much wisdom to share, and so that's why they are part of the 40/40 Rules, Wisdom from 40 Women Over 40, Volume 2, launching November 29th, 2018. So we're so excited to have you here and have you part of the book.
Thank you. I'm excited too.
Yeah. And as of this recording, it's coming right up. We haven't launched yet, so you may be listening after we've already launched. And I'm sorry if you are, because you'll probably miss our 99-cent launch, which will be on November 29th through Amazon. If you are listening to this after, you can go to the book and get it anytime. But this today is to talk about Cindy and what she does and who she is. And she's got such a great warmth and heart about her. And Cindy, I met at a energy, right? Isn't that where we met? Was
at our energy training, yeah.
Yeah, so we did a modality that we got certified for together. And she went to college with one of my younger sister, and their husbands went to law school together. So that was great that we had.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw you, I knew you guys were sisters. I was like, oh, so excited. That was awesome.
Well, it was great to connect, and it was great to reconnect and have you part of this book. And so share a little bit about your story. Like what's life look like for you now and earlier, and what's your story?
Well, I grew up in Calgary, Alberta, and let's see, went away to college, fell in love with a guy, got married, and moved to DC. And it wasn't my dream guy. We were married for 5 years and went through a divorce. So that's been something that I've learned a lot from, and, can help others, empathize with others going through similar situations. But anyway, then I found my dream guy. My dream guy was brought into my life, and actually today is our 22nd anniversary. So yeah, so we have 5 kids now altogether. I have 1 in my first marriage and then 4 more, and life is great. Like everybody, we've all had trials and stuff, but I'm really, really grateful. I'm in a good place, and I really have a great life. So very, very grateful.
Well, and I know how much intuition you have, because I learned that doing our energy class together. And so I know you're probably doing sessions for people, and that's something I'd love to have you share with us on this, because people that are in that weird place, or maybe need a little bit of help working through some things. I know you've helped me, and we all get, maybe it's not stuck, maybe it's just in a weird funk,
Yeah, and we all have bad days. I have suffered depression in my life, and was able to get some medical help. And I've also gone through like a kind of a withdrawal of it too. I kind of just last year decided to go through a total kind of detox, because I'd been on medication for 20 years, or not that long, maybe 16, but still, that's a really long time.
Yeah.
But so I decided to, I want to see what I'm like without medication, and try to embrace who I am and whatever. And it was a nightmare. It was a mental struggle every day, and I couldn't. It was so bad that I just just thoughts like, your family doesn't need you, you don't need them, just the worst adversarial thoughts, you know what I mean? what I realized is that I can't help other people if I'm battling myself every day. And so I started back on some medication, and life-changing again. But the experience was, it was difficult, and it was hard for my family. And I think what I learned the most is I started to watch, everything turned in. You know what I mean? With depression, everything turns in, and so you think about yourself, and it's terrible. It's terrible, and you can never help others or think about others. It's all you. And but what I did notice is how my family was responding to me. And then they started walking on tiptoes. They didn't know what mood I would be in. They didn't, know if I was, if they could rely on me. My husband didn't. He started acting like he couldn't rely on me for things. And so that was devastating to realize. So I got back on medication, and it is really a chemical thing. It is just insane. So I take medication, and I can live again, and I can help other people, and I'm not battling myself. It's so fascinating. It is something, yeah. And I know that some people, like my ex-husband, he is a great guy, but he cannot understand, he cannot fathom mental illness or chemical imbalances. He just doesn't understand it at all. So yeah, it's a different struggle. So
it is, and we have that in our family a little bit as well. And I noticed it was in my mom's side, and then it seemed to skip all my brothers and sisters, and now it's showing a lot up in my nieces and nephews. And luckily, I've had a couple kids suffer from a little bit from depression, but luckily nothing major.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean we're home free. It could show up at any time. It just seems like once you get to adulthood, you usually see those signs, at some point. And it's tough.
Yeah. But, and you question, why do I have to go through this? But really, the questions of life are, what do I need to learn from this? What can I do to try to overcome this, or overcome, or how can I integrate this in my life, but be better for it? Those are.
What I heard you say was that you had been on medication for years, and you got off, detoxed, and then realized that you really did need something. It wasn't, there was a chemical imbalance.
Absolutely.
And that was okay. And you function better being on something. Did you change what you were on, or did you go back to what you were on?
Do you know what? My doctor put me back on what I was on, and it really did work.
Okay.
There was, in my experience of a lot of years, and a lot of people have different experiences with their body chemistry. I think I only had one medicine that didn't really work for me, and it was obvious right away. So it was only a week or two kind of trial. But so the one that I'm on, it works. So she did put me, but I did talk to my doctor as I was going off things to say which one first and things like that. So I made sure to talk to my doctor, and I went in right away when I felt, I had a dream the night before, and my husband is so lovely. He's just so kind. But I had a dream that kind of triggered me and said, hey, how would my husband word it if he thought that I needed to get back on medication? Because you know what I mean? It's such a tricky thing. And that morning he said something. So it was like an intuitive or a gift, you know what I mean, of the spirit to be able to know. And I was like, it's time. And then right away I called my doctor and started getting back on stuff. So
well, and sometimes we ignore those gut feelings and those intuition, and a lot of people listening, like when you get those, we have those for a reason. And if we ignore them, maybe things will turn out okay, but a lot of times they don't, because we didn't listen. And so, I would encourage, anybody listening to this, and thanks for being so transparent about it.
Yeah.
It's a huge, challenge with so many. And I remember when Scott and I got married, it's been almost 17 years now. And, we put 8 kids together, and we had 7 living in the house at the same time. I was working like 70 hours a week still. And I'll tell you what, I was so happy to go to work,
Yeah.
like I'm checking out.
That's easier than, hard.
But there was a time when I knew I needed to be on something. Like I knew I wasn't handling and coping well. And I knew in my heart it was a temporary thing for me.
Right.
You know? And
And
so I was on something for about 8 months. And then when I felt like I was okay, I got off and I was okay.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I'd do it in a heartbeat if I got in that place again, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I agree. People, I mean, there's so many, our bodies and our minds, we do have intuition, and we do have messages, you know what I mean, from our body, from our spirit, for our spirit, telling us, kind of guiding us and helping us. So we just sometimes just need to listen. And that really is learning to listen to your intuition. So that's been one of the biggest things that I've learned.
I agree. Another thing I'd like to add, the book has a lot, anyone that's thinking, you know, they want to maybe check out the book.
Yeah.
This particular, the volume 2, attracted probably all Christian women. Like it's not a Christian book, and they're all diverse. I mean, there's doctors, there's all kinds of different, you know, colored women in there. There's everything. I mean, it's very diverse, and they're from 40 to 85 years old. So there's a ton of packed wisdom to lean. And that being said, I've noticed that, you know, one thing I will say, all the authors give is their 3 must-read books.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really shocked at how many either put the Bible or their scriptures, like that was one of their 3 top must-read books. And it was over and over. And normally in the last book, I didn't see that pattern. That pattern. And that's fine. A couple of people actually reached out to me and said, is this okay?
You know what? I did the same. I am my top one, you know, would be, you know, the Book of Mormon and the King James version of the Bible. That was the first things, because that's what I live my life by, you know. And but I didn't end up putting those in, because I asked a couple of family members and stuff, and they're like, no, you know what I mean, just do it for, you know, society kind of thing or whatever. But those were absolutely my first thoughts to do that, because that's,
well, I will let you know, a lot of there were several did
really,
and that's cool.
Cool.
And a couple did ask me, you know, and said, is that okay? And you know what, absolutely, I didn't even think twice about it, because absolutely that's okay. This is our book, it's not my book, and I want it to make you shine. And you know what, if that's what you live your life by, and that's who you are, that is okay. Don't be apologetic for that, you know. And so I just found it interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah.
Transparency that is coming out, you know.
That's cool.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Very cool.
So what's been your experience like with your energy business? With
energy, learning energy work and learning, well, I can say Carolyn Cooper, she is just amazing. She just has a light, and just the principles that she taught, how to listen to your intuition, how to understand energies, and things made so much sense to me. I feel like I'm kind of a very empathic person, and I didn't know that word really until, like, empathy, you know, we know empath, but to like be an empath, or that's kind of a different category kind of thing. But I learned why I'm the way I am, and how I can understand other people's energies and their feelings without talking to them. It's just been eye-opening and just so fascinating. And it's a way, so I just love people, and I love helping them and understanding them and hearing their stories. I mean, I could just sit and talk to people forever and just listen, you know. I do talk a lot too, but anyway.
Oh, good.
But I love to know of their experiences and you know, the things that they've gone through. But energy is just so fascinating to me. I really would love to develop more gifts, to be able to, you know, see auras and develop more. I would love to take more classes and learn more, to just keep going with that. But it'll have to be at another period of my life, like in a few years or something. But it just opened the window to endless possibilities for me, and such good understanding. Just the idea of generational issues, generational energy that gets stuck with us, that we have, we suffer from things or blocks that aren't our stuff. It's traumas from our ancestors and from our family members, but the whole essence of it is to heal. It's to heal us and to heal our family members. I mean, how beautiful is that?
Right. Yeah, and it's been an eye-opener for me to learn these same things and to realize, why you do the things you do, and why maybe they do the things they do, and that's why I'm so fascinated and love the personality profiling type stuff, because it all fits together. There's reasons we do everything, right?
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah. But and plus my experiences with the depression and the medication and stuff, I would pray and I would just say, why do I have to go through this, and what do I have to learn from this? And I actually got an answer in the form of my son calling me like the next day, asking me for help with something, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is related, and I wouldn't know answers to those things unless I had experienced them.
Yeah.
So it's so, the things we do go through, if we can figure them out, if we can overcome them, we can help other people and help them through the mire. You know what I mean? When we're stuck in the mud, if someone can help us out of the mud, if I can help one person out of the mud, then it's worth my experience. So, but there's reasons for everything. So try to make us better.
Well, for sure. And I think hearing other people's stories really change, maybe our perception sometimes of where we think we are, because sometimes we play the victim role. We think we're the only ones going through this.
Yeah.
I mean, I've lately become very transparent. Like, I'm always transparent, and with my friends, it's like I'm an open book.
Yeah.
But what I've been shared with from others lately for myself is, they think I have it all together. Are you this or you that? And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, so when I gave a talk a couple weeks ago, I put my little accolades, all these achievements up, that you do when you give a talk, and this is who I am. And I don't talk about it. I just throw a slide up that I go, and that's, whatever. Because it wasn't about me, it was about them, and
sure.
My feedback, and then I threw up a slide up that I had never shared, and I said, but what you don't know about me is this, and I threw this slide up with about maybe a dozen different things of all these things and challenges that I've been through. Everybody just, like, their eyes popped out of their head, it was like, oh
wow.
And I didn't quite know, I didn't really even talk about hardly anything on there, because I didn't know the reaction. I was like, and so we had a discussion about it, because it was a smaller group.
Oh,
but I've
that's
never
nice.
been that open in a group, and everybody was like thanking me, because it's like, oh, because I can relate. Like, all of a sudden they're relating to me because been there, done that, type thing.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting and an eye opener for me. And so I'm going to do that more. Like, I'm going to dig in a little more, because there's a story between each statement maybe that was on there. There's stories between that. And I don't ever tell those stories, because those are sometimes, don't you feel like we don't want to tell those stories because maybe we're protecting our children, I mean, my abuse with my first husband, it's like, I never would tell anyone anything because I had kids, and I thought, well, now they're adults, and guess what? They get it. They know all about it. And so I think you need to, that as we have these stories and we're more transparent and open with things, you're right. It's those lessons, and so, I mean, every scar I have and every situation I've been in, I didn't like them, when you're in it, you're like,
it's the worst.
What can I do to get out of here? Right.
Yeah.
But I think we become so much stronger and better people because of it. And I always tell people, I can help about anyone in any situation. I mean,
because you've been through so much, right?
Well, I used to say, except maybe a murder. And then literally I've had two of my friends who had family members murdered, and I had to do their hair and nails for their people. I mean, I've been in it, it was scary. Wow. I mean, weird stuff. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm just saying there's, be careful what you say. Be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. It's like,
No,
situation.
but it's to help. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. But it is to, I think we who love people and love to share, I think that helps, that's a bridge for us to, open up and to make other people feel comfortable and at ease and accepted and loved, and on a ground where they can feel safe and that they can share, or that, and even if, even if you're not going to be long-term friends with people or whatever, you can share common experiences and recognize the trial, the struggle, and be able to, just share that victory, or just that connection with other people. So.
Well, I can say anyone listening that is maybe looking for a little extra help, or somebody with some intuition that is a great healer, that would be you. And we'll put your contact information here. You want to just say the best way to get a hold of you, and then we'll also add it on your bio underneath the show notes here.
Sure. The best way to get a hold of me, honestly, would be to text me. I do work, and so I can't always, I have different emails and stuff, but the most direct way would be to just text me and tell me who you are and what you need, and then I can get back to you quickly. I'm home. We have 4 kids home again and back and again, and I'm working part-time, which I love, and but the energy work is just so wonderful, and I feel such a cleansing and such a spiritual experience every time I have a session with someone, and it's really profound experiences. So it definitely is for me, and I really feel that from the people that have sessions with me too. So it's real blessing in my life. So.
What's your phone number?
It's 614-557-8456, and I'm in Ohio. I'm in Columbus, Ohio.
So she's on Eastern time, everybody.
Time, yeah.
People listening from all over the world. So yep. Eastern time.
And I'm usually up late.
Don't text her at 2 o'clock in the morning when it's 11 o'clock your time.
I might be up. You never know. I might be up.
I'm a morning person, so I've learned to turn my ringer off at night, because I used to have things going off all night long. I'm like, oh, stop. Because, you get to have friends all over the world, which is a blessing, but also can be not so good when you're trying to get some rest. So, well, thank you. Anything else on your heart that you want to share with the listeners?
No, we talked about some great stuff. So
thank you again
very blessed
for joining us. Everybody, I can't tell you what chapter you are yet, because I don't have the final layout to look at, but Cindy Brogdon, look her up in the 40/40 Rules, Wisdom from 40 Women Over 40 Volume 2, launching November 29th. We hope you all grab and snag your copy up so you can read all the wisdom from all the fabulous women. And men, you listening as well. I know I get men listening to my podcast as well, and you know what? There's lots of nuggets in there that might help you in your relationship with your partner, mother, child, whatever. So grab yourself one, or get it and share it with the women in your life. And again, we will see you again at another day in the podcast. And thanks, Cindy, for joining us today.
Thanks, Holly.
Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to Prosperity Profiles Podcast, sponsored by Prosperity Profilers, LLC, helping you look prosperous, feel prosperous, and be prosperous. We hope you enjoyed our time together, and we'll visit again soon. You can learn more about Prosperity Profilers by going to hollyporter.com.